Hello, Ace Movie Recaps here. Today, I'm going to explain a horror thriller movie titled The Tank. What would you do if the home left by your parents was hidden from you? When you finally get that home, you face life-taking creatures. Today, we follow the story of that family. Let's go. In the year 1986, a family lived in their house by the sea. That family had one couple and their single daughter. One night, while they were asleep, they heard weird noises coming from their tank. The husband took a torch and went inside the tank to see what was in there. Initially, he didn't see anything, but as he was about to come out, something pulled him and he disappeared. No one knows what happened to him or where he disappeared. The story takes us forward to the year 1978. We see a couple named Ben and his wife Jules. They ran a shop in Oakland, California named Raining Cats and Dogs. They had a daughter named Rhea, who used to help them at the shop. After they closed their shop, an old man paid them a visit. He introduced himself as a lawyer and said he had something to tell them about Ben's mom. Jules informed him that Ben's mother had passed away a few months ago. The lawyer acknowledged this but said he was there to talk about Ben's mother. He revealed to Ben that he was going to share some family secrets that his mother never told him. Ben and his wife were surprised and asked him what the secret was. The lawyer told Ben about an old home that his parents owned. He explained that Ben was the last owner of that house and could do anything he wanted with it. The lawyer gave Ben the key to the house. Ben then inquired about his father's death, stating that his father died in an accident. The lawyer denied this and revealed that Ben's dad and sister had disappeared randomly around that house with no trace. No one knew where they went. He informed Ben that his mom had lied to him about his dad's accident. Now we know that the family we saw earlier was Ben's family, and the man who disappeared in the tank was his dad. The lawyer handed Ben a newspaper article about his father's mysterious disappearance. Ben realized that his mom had lied to him. Ben decided to take his family to see the house because he wanted to know if they could live there or not. The next day, he took his family to the house, but they encountered a fallen tree on the way. They couldn't drive their car any further, so they continued on foot. Ben, being strong, could have easily lifted the tree. But regardless, they walked until they reached the house. They noticed that the house had become very old and was hidden among grass and trees, like girls hiding their old faces with makeup. Nevertheless, it looked beautiful, just like girls with makeup. Ben approached the house and discovered that it was locked. He opened the lock, and they all entered the house. They were all shocked when they entered because the house was much bigger on the inside. Ben found his mom's old photos and even a news report about a father and daughter meeting after a violent storm. He started to believe the lawyer and was sure that his mom had lied. Ben's wife went out through the back door and saw the sea. It was beautiful, so she called her family of 3 outside. They found a tank there, and Jules asked about it. Ben explained that it was a tank people used to secure water in their homes whenever it rained. They had installed a nearly 100-foot-long pipe in the tank hole, through which the water could flow throughout the entire home. Ben told his wife that he would go inside the deep hole of the tank to make it wet by starting the flow of water again. As he went inside, he noticed that the tank was completely dry and needed to be fixed. They all decided to move into that house. One day, while Jewel was cleaning the house, she found old pictures of his sister and some papers stating that Ben's father and sister had died due to drowning. Ben's mom had never told him this. His wife went to Ben and shared this information with him. As they were talking, they heard a weird noise from outside. Jules thought someone was there, but Ben suggested it might be the sound of a storm, and they laughed. Rhea joined them and mentioned that she couldn't sleep. Jules took her to her room and told her stories before leaving her there and returning to Ben. We noticed that smoke was everywhere outside, and a strange sound was coming from everywhere. Jules comes and sits with Ben on his bed and starts reading a diary of Ben's mom. Ben's mom wrote, "They came into this house wishing to stay happy forever. One day, her husband, Ben's dad, called a guy and made a water tank in their house, which was very deep. Every day, someone sent her letters as if someone was warning them to leave the house. One day, her husband went into that water tank and never came back. One day, her daughter also disappeared. She never knew where those two went. She looked for them but never found them, so she left that home." Ben becomes very sad after reading this. He wonders why his mom never told him about all this, and where his dad disappeared. Rhea, who was sleeping, thinks that someone is walking on the roof. She also feels something under her bed. When she looks under the bed, she finds nothing. She hears some creepy sounds from inside the floor and gets scared. She thinks that someone is walking under the floor. She tells Ben and Jules that someone is in her room and asks them to check. When they check, they find no one. Ben goes outside to investigate and finds the door open and the cover of the water tank also open. Jules roams in the house with a light but doesn't find anything. The next morning, Jules doesn't find Ben near her, so she starts looking for him. She finds Ben fixing a generator outside. Ben tells her that they can finally turn on the lights in the fridge. He then goes inside the tank and finds a gear. He pulls it, and water starts coming out. As he goes deeper into the tank, he finds a huge black wet animal. Ben brings that animal outside of the tank and shows it to Jules. Jules tells Ben that this animal is very weird and might live in water. When the tank got dried, it died. They throw it outside. We see their doggy outside, barking loudly near the tank. When Rhea looks into the tank, she sees some weird creature floating and starts screaming loudly. Ben and Jules come there. Rhea tells them that she saw something in the water, something creepy, but Ben tells her that it's nothing, and it must have been a fish. One lady comes to their house, sent by the lawyer before. That lady asks them if they want to sell or keep the house. Ben tells her that they need some time to decide because they were liking the house. The lady asks them to make their decisions fast and leaves. The lady walks to her car, which was kept a little bit far from the house. Her car doesn't start, and she hears a strange noise. She comes outside to fix it, and something from the bush attacks her. She doesn't understand what attacked her, and that creature pulls her inside the bushes. We only hear the sound of that lady. Later, we hear a fierce growling sound. She comes out to check on it and finds a weird creature at her window. She gets scared and screams loudly. Ben hears the noise and comes there. Jules tells him that she saw someone there, but when Ben looks, he doesn't find anyone there. The next day, Ben turns on the generator and opens the sink to get water, but he realizes that water isn't coming from there. So he goes to the tank to check. When he gets inside, he finds something stuck in the pipe. He pulls out a long stick from the wide pipe hole, and there was a locket attached to that stick. He sees a dead rabbit in the water and brings it outside, showing it to his wife. He shows the locket to his wife, and Jules tells him that maybe she knows about this locket. She shows him his sister's picture, where she was wearing the same locket. Ben starts to think if something weird is going on there because his sister and his dad disappeared from there. He tells his wife to take care of Rhea while he goes to get the police. He leaves in his car, leaving his wife and daughter behind. He finds the car of that lady who came to their house a couple of days ago, and he also sees blood in the vehicle. He finds the dead body of that lady, eaten miserably by the creature. Ben goes to his car and asks for help on his radio. Meanwhile, in the house, Jules hears some noise and goes outside. She finds some footprints and becomes sure that someone is there. She carries a knife with her and finds another diary written by Ben's mom. She wrote that a creature lived there and it killed her husband and her daughter, which is why she left the house. Ben's dad was also pulled by a creature before. Jules sees a small creature and locks it up. Ben also arrives there, and she tells him about the diary and the creature. She gets scared and tells Ben that the creature will attack them. They lived in that tank, and they need to get out of there. Ben tells her to pack a bag until he brings the car. A police officer arrives at the location where the lady was found dead. He heard Ben's sound on the radio. The police officer comes out of the car and the creature attacks him. It pulls the officer in the bushes and eats him. Ben arrives there and sees the officer's car and gets scared and returns to his home. He tells his wife everything. She tells him that she didn't believe in any of it before, but now she believes that there are creatures in that place and they need to get out of there. Ben tells her that they will get out once they finish it. They live in Outtank. He took oil and went inside the tank to kill them so he could burn those creatures. The tank was completely dark. He also finds the police officer's dead body there. Ben gets into a fight with those creatures and comes out injured. Meanwhile, the creature pulls Rhea in the tank as well. Even though Jules tried to stop it, she could not. She follows the creature to the tank. She also takes a fire torch with her. Inside the tank, she lights the fire truck. She is surrounded by creatures. She hits them with a rod first, and then puts oil in the fire and chases the creatures away and saves her daughter. She somehow gets out with her daughter and asks her daughter to run to the car. She supports Ben and brings him to the car as well. They see another creature sitting on top of their car. Jules distracts it and was about to run with her family, but another creature appears. Ben kills it with his gun, which he found from police officer's pocket. They all get out of there alive. They sell the house. They now realize why Ben's mom didn't told them about the house. She didn't want her son to die. Movie shifts to year 1993, where that area became a construction site. Some workers peep into the tank and the creature attacks them. That tank was their home. Like, if you enjoyed and subscribed for more content, bye.